Welcome to San Antonio's Influence Magazine show, the premier talk show where we introduce you to influential individuals doing significant work in the city of San Antonio and surrounding areas. Celebrate the spirit of business, leadership, and innovation. If this is your first time joining us and you'd like more information, you could find us at influencesa.com. That's influencesa.com. Like us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, and for this particular episode of the show, all future and past episodes of the show, pull up your YouTube search bar, toss in San Antonio's Influence Magazine show. When you get there, please subscribe, give us a like or a thumbs up, and hit that bell so that you don't miss any future episodes of the show. Happy New Year and welcome to the show. I'm your host, Cedric Fisher. Before today's episode, I'd like to briefly acknowledge the team behind the scenes. Our executive producer, Lola Fisher, our videographer, Jerry Oler, our post-production editor, Seth Char, and our production assistant, Brenna Calhoun. The efforts of our talented team members make the show what it is, and with their support, we'll continue to bring you, our viewers, new and exciting content into the new year. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with someone whose work is rooted in family, heritage, and the power of memory. Consuelo Montoya is a retired educator from San Antonio. She joins us as the author of My Daddy, Poems from the Heart, a celebration of her father's poetry. We'll discuss her father's legacy, the stories behind the collection, and the journey of preserving his voice. When we come back, we'll speak with Consuelo Montoya. Stay tuned.
I spent 7 decades looking at the world through perfect eyes, but I never truly saw anything until the darkness came. They called it vision loss. I called it the beginning of sight.
What if losing your sight meant finally learning to see? At 81, Alora waits in darkness, remembering 7 decades of light. From a Texas farm where lightning nearly claimed her infant life, to breaking barriers as one of the first female battalion commanders in military history. From cross-country adventures with her beloved car, Lady Blue, to 12 years caring for the love of her life through terminal illness. 7 times, vision left her. 7 times, something else arrived. Lucky pennies appearing in impossible places. Feathers floating where no birds fly. Songs playing when no music should exist. As macular degeneration slowly steals her physical sight, Ellie discovers truths that eyes could never reveal. That love transcends death. That strength grows through surrender. That the clearest vision comes from within. Now, confined to a government facility for the blind in dystopian America, facing one final procedure, Ellie must answer the ultimate question. Is this ending or beginning? Death or transcendence? Darkness or the first real light she's ever seen? Sight by Alexandria Claremont. Some journeys can only be seen with closed eyes. Available now from Cedric D. Fisher and Company Publishers.
Consuelo, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So before we get started, just share with the audience a little bit about your background, maybe where you're from and your background growing up.
I was born here in San Antonio, Texas in 1949. I was raised by two parents that lived during the Depression, so I had some of that background in me. I went to Ursuline Academy and then St. Teresa's Academy for high school, and then to St. Mary's University, and graduated from St. Mary's. During that time, I we lived on Claremont, and we moved to where most of the story takes place, at the grocery store on Brazos. And then I met Michael. We got married, and from that union came my teaching career, which lasted for 23 years. And I've learned so much from the people that I interacted with as a teacher. The students were awesome. So I had a very good, I feel good about my retirement. Made some good decisions, made some bad decisions, but that goes with life.
Okay, sure. So you were an educator for 23 years?
Yes.
Which school district?
I started with Edgewood,
okay.
Then I moved to Seguin, and I ended up in Dallas, which was a blessing in itself, because I couldn't find a job here in San Antonio. They weren't hiring at that time. So I just said, okay, I'm going to think outside the box. I applied to Dallas. They needed a teacher with my credentials right away. Michael told me, you know, if you can get a job in Dallas, we'll move. Don't worry about me getting a job. I said, great. That was the best decision we could have made. Because of that, I was able to retire with a good annuity, with a good retirement payment every month.
So you were an educator for 23 years on the east side or south side, is that?
It was the west side, and then Seguin, Texas, and then Dallas, Texas.
Okay. So you have penned a great book called My Daddy.
Points from the Heart.
From the Heart. All right. When was it that you decided, these were all a collection of poems, right, that your dad wrote for you or to you over his lifetime. When was it that you decided to make a collection and decided you wanted to share it with the world?
This decision had been in the workings for a long time. With my dad, he tried, but he didn't have the resources. And with him, he was still raising a family, his job, still sending 2 children to high school and to college, and then buying cars and clothes and everything else, was raising $2. So when he passed away, I missed him tremendously. But then again, with me, life got in the way. You know, I was teaching, I had my career, so it was put on the back burner. All of a sudden, I just thought last year, I started looking at him, I said, it's time. And I want to tell you how I found your name, you know. And I said, okay. I was looking at Google, and I saw your name there. And I felt like my daddy was telling me, go with him. Because I felt his spirit saying, that's the man to go with. You came to my apartment, we talked, and the impression I got from you was that you believed in this book as much as I did. You weren't in it, okay, it's going to be a bestseller. It's not. You just believed in me and the book. And that's why I kept going. I know I gave you a time with it. I know we had our ups and downs. That's okay. That's all right. Yeah. But you made me feel calm about the whole process, and I was working with awesome people. You being the number one, but with awesome people. So it took a while to put it into print, but now that it's print, I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it to leave a legacy of my dad's work. Outstanding.
By the way, for those of you who don't know, we're publishers, and we had the privilege of publishing Consuelo's book for her. And thank you for those kind words. I appreciate it. It was a team effort.
Yes, and, I know, but I gave your team a hard time.
That's okay. That's okay. We just we appreciate the experience.
Can I say one more thing?
Sure.
You still let me maintain control of the book because it was my book, and you saw that and that's what I liked about it. I maintained most of the control, and that's what I like. I took the advice from Sandra, if I can mention her name, and other people that worked on it.
Sure.
But I was very picky, I know that.
That's okay. That's okay. We've got the experience of working with various personalities, so we enjoyed it. And again, it's a team sport, so we kind of you kind of had experience with everybody on the team. So,
yes, yeah. And that was a learning experience.
So let me ask you this: when as a child growing up, how did your dad share these poems with you? Did he handwrite these, or?
My dad had an old Royal typewriter, the old-fashioned kind, And the picture on the book is very similar to the typewriter he used, and he would go like this, one finger at a time.
Hunt and peck, yeah.
But he also, his handwriting was like that of a doctor. Chicken scratch. You could barely read it. It wasn't until I was like a teenager or starting high school, middle school, high school, that I became aware of his work. And like I said before, he wanted to publish them at one time, but he didn't have the resources. And then I also asked him to write a couple of poems for me. And one of them was The Rose, Una Rosa, and other pieces that he wrote specifically for me, like the one when I turned 15 or 16 years old. It's in the book. And the bottom line is, I was always close to my daddy. And the last thing I say in my book, I'm a daddy's girl, and I will always be my daddy's girl.
Daddy's girl, yeah. Good. I have one of those too. So, very good. Now, during the process of revisiting all those poems or collecting them, what was it like for you emotionally? Did you?
When my dad first thought of it, he had penned certain poems to be put in this book, okay. So I picked those together and I put them together and I started looking at them as to my favorites, the ones that I want to share. And I didn't want them to be, because my daddy had two sides of him, a dark side and a positive side, a bright side. And I wanted to be the ones that were bright and would touch people's heart. So when I picked the poems, I had to put in my favorites. And then I put in the ones dealing with family and dealing with when he proposed to my mom and other things. I try to keep it more to our family, my sister, my mom, and my dad, And then he had some poems about his friends. But I picked up the ones that were meant more to me. And I knew that's what he would want in this first book.
How many poems are in total?
I think it's 36 or
36, okay, because I forget.
I don't remember, but I know my favorites are in there.
What's your favorite? That was my question.
There's a couple of them, but my favorite is An Archangel Smiles.
Can you pronounce it?
An Archangel Smiles.
An Archangel Smiles, okay.
And then the other one is the one that was said at our wedding, Dreams and Flowers. That Michael's father recited it in English and in Spanish.
Okay. When you think about, and I recall us having conversations when we were publishing the book about your family holistically. When you think about your family in the background, how much of that was a part of the process of putting the poems together? Did you have to survey individuals? Did you have to get their buy-in?
The only buy-in I got was my brother-in-law, Gilbert. He wanted the poem that my dad wrote for him and my sister's wedding to be in the book, and it wasn't there. And there was the one that Sandra had trouble translating or working on because she couldn't understand my dad's writing. So I translated that one, and she was so happy with it.
Okay.
Anyway, to go back to, I didn't have to ask anybody. I basically relied on my feeling about the poems, about the works. But I could also feel my dad in the background telling me, that one, his spirit telling me, this is the one. So, and then I go back to the premise that I wanted to include the family. I included one about, like I said, when he proposed to my mother, so. But the emotional process, I was seeing a dream come true. I was fulfilling a dream of mine and my dad's. And that was the whole purpose of the book.
So your whole family was supportive of you putting this out?
The ones that are living, yes.
How about after the book was published and now it was public? Was everyone still supportive?
Well, you think about when you publish a book, you think, okay, it's going to make money. And I was thinking, it'd be nice to have money, but it's more of a legacy. It's more of, people out there saying, this is beautiful work, this means something. You're taking the poem and saying, can I use it at my daughter's wedding or my son's wedding? It's out there, and that's my goal, to put it out there, to put his book, the fact that a man with a third grade education could write something so beautiful. Just by learning by way of the Reader's Digest. That was his education.
It is amazing.
Yes.
And the fact that he had the ability to write it down, even if it was on a napkin or something.
He couldn't read it because he wrote like a doctor.
Yeah. We're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
We'll be right back with Consuelo Montoya, the author. How do you hope readers feel and experience when they're reading through My Daddy? What experience or feeling do you want them to get?
I want them to get a feeling like they're right there. That they can take a poem and they can picture themselves. I have an example of one. At one of the signing events at the community that I live at, I asked Michael to read a poem, and I asked one of the residents there, Mr. Nick Benedetto, I asked him to read a poem. And he read the one I wanted him to, but then he read another one called Dancing on Walls. And his introduction was, you young men can picture this. And when he read it, I could picture a young man with his partner or girl dancing in a hall, And that's what I want the readers to get out of it. The feeling that they're right there and they can imagine themselves going through this.
Okay, great experience. And a lot of people can find it relatable, right? So that's important. How about you in your own personal life? Do you find yourself at times either referring back or recalling or reflecting on the messages? Do they kind of help you get through the day at times?
Actually, my dad, I was born with epilepsy, and the movement disorder came later. And I could never really understand it. I was young. It was in the 1950s. They didn't have much for epilepsy, just certain shots and certain medicine. And there were no specialists at that time. But my mother and father tried everything, curanderos, other herbs and whatever. But the one thing that they never said to me, they always told me, never give up. They always believed in me. And that helped me to believe in myself. And in talking to a friend of mine over at the community, because I had the issues with the disability, and because I was bullied, it made me a stronger person. And
your parents' encouragement and support.
And basically, I remember a counselor telling my mother and father that I would not amount to anything. My dad was so upset, and when he told me that, I said, I'll show him.
Okay.
And I did.
Okay, good. Is that in the book? Is some of that
No.
Okay.
It was one of the stories I wanted to put in there, but then Michael kept telling me, when I was writing the biography on my dad, it's about the relationship between you and your dad. And the more I thought about it, that's my dad always encouraged me.
Yeah.
And he believed in me. And my mother, I think Michael will agree with me in your own way, encouraged me.
Okay. That's important.
Yes.
Very good. Yeah, part of the, one of the things we enjoyed about the book is given your disability, it was very inspiring, and we hope that readers get the same inspiration from it, that you were able to take that disability and make the most of your life regardless of it, and ultimately you put a book together about your dad and your experience with him.
It was funny, with the movement disorder, I've had it all my life. I was bullied, And it was a young student when I was in Dallas. And she asked me, she says, why does your face move? She was a pre-K, she was one of my students. I said, it just does. And that's when I really started to accept my movement disorder. Before I hadn't really accepted it as part of me. And then when I came back from Dallas, I met this awesome neurologist. She says, I'm going to send you to a specialist that's going to take care of it. It's going to help you through it. She did. I've been with this other doctor for a while, so it's under control. But again, it goes back to the kind of person I am because of it. It made me stronger, made me realize if I put my mind to it, I can do it.
I can do anything.
Yeah.
That's outstanding. It's brilliant. What's interesting, too, it's a whole nother story in and of itself, is a lot of times kids, when they're born and first get started, they don't acknowledge that they've got any issues. They take risks. They do things that are adventurous until they start hearing from someone else that you're black or you're this or you're handicapped or whatever, you're disabled. Then they start listening to that and kind of,
I'll just briefly mention the story of one of my students and the way that my other students treated him. I got that student that was autistic. And the little girls were afraid of him, and I can understand why, but the boys weren't. And yet he would get up and go to the center and his partner would follow him. After a while, the boys accepted him. When he was ready to go to his special class for autism, his mother was so afraid because she really liked the way I taught him, the way I dealt with him. He was just another child, another student to me. He wasn't. And I told her, he's going to be okay. She came back to me about a week later, maybe 2 weeks later, and said, he's doing good, and I'm glad he had you as a teacher. So I happened to ask the supervisor of the special ed program at my school, why did you put him in my classroom? She says, because I knew you could deal with it. And that made me feel very confident.
Nice, yeah.
It's just a story I want to throw in there about dealing with.
So I've heard before that the 2 best days of your life are the day you were born and the day you discover why. So sometime when you realize your purpose, you'll accept the way you were hardwired by the guy who put the sand on the shore. Yeah. That this was a part of your purpose, a part of your calling. So that's outstanding. It's good to hear. Let me ask you this question. What's the one thing that people don't know about you but should?
Okay. I know I want to say it. A lot of times people look at me and think I'm a real dummy. They also underestimate me. They think, oh, she's a nobody, that's first impression. But they don't realize that I know how to size up people real well. I learned that from my dad. And I can meet a person, first impression, realize, are they good for me or are they toxic, and just say hello, goodbye, that kind of friend. And then I also know that I can size up people real well. And people realize after they get to know me, hey, she's smarter. She's got a lot more going for her than you see. So I don't always give a good first impression, and I know that. And it took me a long time to accept it, but now that I accept it, I'm okay with it.
So if people prejudge you the wrong way, just give you some time, get to know you.
Yes.
And they'll find out that you're a lot more special than meets the eye.
But the key thing there is you have to be special to yourself. You have to accept yourself for how you perceive yourself and go with that. Because if you project yourself as being phony, they'll see that. But if you project yourself as being real and honest, they'll pick up on that. If it's later, and if they don't, I just don't deal with them.
Yeah.
I don't,
Yeah, it's good. There's a lot of good motivational stuff in the book, by the way, and I want to recommend everybody go buy this book. Amazon, you can find it on Amazon. What message would you want to share from this experience, from the poems, and from growing up with someone else who may have disabilities and kind of feel a little inferior or insecure about themselves? What kind of message would you want to share with them?
The number one message that comes to my mind is find a way to deal with it, accept it, and go forward. And as far as the book, if it can inspire you to write another book, to write your own story, because I find that all of us have a talent. And whether, how we use that talent is up to us, but if we use that talent to write, to sing, to draw, to paint, whatever, just show people that talent, because you're showing part of yourself. And just the bottom line is follow your dream. If you have a dream to be a writer, follow it. Do it.
Yeah. But we were all given a gift, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Just let your light shine. Shine your light, whatever that gift is.
Yes. And I was given a gift. It took me a long time to find it, but I found it.
Yeah. I always say that some of us take the scenic route, trying to figure it out. We get the privilege of interviewing a lot of leaders on this show, and one of the things we've all concluded is that leaders are readers. They always have a favorite book or a go-to book, and that book is often found on their nightstand. What book's on your nightstand?
My dad's poems is one of them.
Okay, good.
The other book that I love, I like is the series called Chicken Soup for the Soul. I got so much inspiration from those books.
Outstanding.
And then the last one is Mysteries.
Okay.
The old mysteries like Isaac Asimov and Agatha Christie, your mysteries.
Very good. Well, Consuelo, anything else you want to share with the audience in parting?
Just one piece of advice. If you feel you have a story to tell it. Share it. Follow your dream.
Tell your story.
Yeah.
Shine your light.
Yes.
Thank you for coming on the show. It was a privilege publishing your book, and we really enjoyed you sharing more of your life with us.
Thank you. Thank you for putting up with the way I felt like I was micromanaging my book at times.
That's quite all right. It's a process. So again, we've got the experience, and we kind of understand how to navigate through. Consuelo, thank you for coming on the show. We appreciate you sharing your story with us.
Thank you for having me.
We'll see you all next time.